Hello?
Hey, Chris, it's Randy. I saw you on our website checking out all of our stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. I want to give you a demo. I want to show you ROI, 40% increase in leads, shorten your sales cycle. We can do all sorts of stuff.
Do you even know what our problems are?
No, but I'll help you solve them anyways.
No.
No, but we want to show you stuff. Give you a demo.
I don't know who you're talking to.
Yeah,
you're in the trash.
Show you some features and stuff.
Hello and welcome to our latest episode of Unmissed Connections. Randy and Chris here back in the studio, and we are talking about selling by listening. All too often, you hear people getting on the phone and just pitch. You don't even know what the problem that the prospect has on the other end of the line. You're just hoping that you're going to say something that resonates based on maybe a vertical or a role. So Randy, what do you recommend people do to use the prospect in their own selling tactic?
Yeah, I think it's pretty fundamental stuff. Hopefully you're not hearing this for the first time. I don't even know if I'd call it selling by listening. I'd call it not selling at all until long after you've listened, right? I think sales these days is about listening, right? It's my grandfather taught me at a very early age, you have 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason,
You've
right?
said this in a prior
I have, yeah. You really want to listen twice as much as you speak. And I think for any good salesperson out there, the entire objective initially when you first start engaging with a prospect, whether it's inbound or outbound, is to do anything you can to get them talking so that you can listen and find out whether or not we can even solve their problem. If we sell to the wrong people for the wrong reasons to solve the wrong problems, they're not going to renew next year.
Yeah.
And that's a big problem. So I think listening is crucial. I think it's one of the first skills that salespeople need to master.
Yeah.
If I were to say just a little more about that, Chris, there's really two types of listening that you could be doing at any given time.
Yeah.
There's what's called active listening and instinctive listening. So active listening is when you're going through a list of discovery questions and getting the prospect to tell you their pains and their problems, and you're writing these down and taking notes. You're doing very active listening, whether you're plugging that information into a CRM or into a notebook so that you can remember the problems they're trying to solve and the issues they're having. Then there's instinctive listening where you're listening, but you're really at this stage more listening for what's behind the words, right? Tonality, intent. I guess you're listening for all those things other than necessarily what they're saying, but how they're saying it, why they're saying it. And you can learn a lot from that type of stuff, like where they are in the buyer's journey. Are they really at the early stages, just, oh no, or, oh my God, I'm going to get fired if I don't solve this problem. So you're listening for a lot of verbal cues.
Yeah.
And I think that's a super important part of listening.
So you're trying to play to your audience. You need to understand the body language without seeing the body language.
Yeah.
Just hearing it through the voice.
Yeah, I think the biggest key, and again, I hope, maybe for those of you watching or listening, I hope this isn't rocket science.
Yeah.
There were days long ago where you dial for dollars and it's all a quantity game and you sell as much as you can. And those are the days where it's just a one-time sale, right? As long as they buy your product and pay you, it's over. But with SaaS these days, that's not the game, right? The game is to get, good customers, create real value so that they not only adopt and start using your product, but then they renew for many years to come. That's the only way, tech companies, SaaS companies win in this day and age. So you better be listening to what problems they're actually experiencing. Yeah. And if we can't solve them, don't try to sell to them, because I can tell you that's a very expensive problem you'll have to undo later down the road.
When they're onboarding and they don't get exactly what they thought.
When there's no adoption, when there's no renewal, and that's just, that's no bueno. I can't tell you how important it is to go for the no. Over are the days where I'm just we have these features and I'm going to say this, I'm trying to get a yes. It's more like, let's try to go for the no early, identifying what their pain is.
Yeah.
Evaluating whether or not you can solve it, and if you can, disengaging and saying, I don't think we can solve for that. Maybe you'll try this company or that company. Maybe reach out to these guys or those guys, and provide them with some sort of direction if you know what it is to where they can solve the problem.
Sure. And honestly, one of the best things that I can recommend, and this requires a pairing of your marketing team, but it's to use math to your advantage and use customer success to your advantage. For example, your marketing team, which I'm currently working on, is to provide the sales team with actual metrics, success metrics, increase in sales sales here, increase in MQLs here, based on the products that we're trying to sell. So with that, if you're working with someone or you're trying to reach out to a prospect and they're saying that they just can't seem to increase the quality of leads that may be coming in, we, for example, might have a stat that says we can increase qualified leads by 20%. So by asking that prospect, well, what do you see every month for leads coming in, for qualified leads? Maybe they say something of they only have 100 qualified leads when they're taking in 500 actual leads. And if you can turn around and use that math and say, we could increase those leads by 20 people, that's 20 more leads, qualified leads every month, what would that do to your bottom line? Let them come to that mathematical conclusion on what that value is and how much that offsets how much they're going to be paying for your service. And that could just be one metric.
Don't forget though, if you didn't do a good job of discovery, of asking questions,
you wouldn't know.
An increase in leads may not be the problem they're trying to solve for. So even though that would make sense, sure, we want more leads, but I'm really not thinking about that right now. What I'm thinking about is, something different. So I think the big lesson is every piece of technology these days typically solves many problems. There's very few pieces of technology these days, including ours, that only solve one thing. Yes. What you're trying to identify is the one thing that your technology does that is going to solve the number one largest, most highest priority pain they have. Yeah. I think that's a problem with salespeople a lot these days. Is I get emails every day where, to your point, they don't even know what my problem is or my pain is yet, and they're already like diarrhea of the mouth in their email saying all the things they solve for, and that just falls on deaf ears, right? Of course, Or they get on the call with me and they're just unloading on me on all the things they can solve. It's like, slow down, right? Like, why don't you ask me some questions, see if I have any, imminent, urgent, high priority pains I'm trying to solve, and then only if your technology can in fact speak to one of those pains should we then, well, maybe we have something. Maybe it's worth a longer conversation.
Yeah. So again, it's actually ask and listen to what the pain points are, and if you can, respond to that with actual data, if you have it, and work with your marketing team to help provide that by looking at what your customers or current customers' success rates are.
Someone I really respect had a post on LinkedIn recently that said the perfect discovery call has like 25 questions. Now, even to me, even that was like, I was like, wow, that's a lot. The truth of the matter is, I do believe that the more I can ask you and uncover, the better I'll be able to determine whether or not I actually think I can help you. And only if I truly feel like I can help you after a lot of listening, should I then open my sales trap and start selling or talking or educating or consulting or whatever your style is.
And again, one last thing you mentioned earlier, but you can't enforce it enough, which is to just be honest.
Yeah.
If you can't solve a problem or you don't know, own up to it. No one's going to fault you if you don't know an answer, but as long as you get it, that's what it makes a difference. Guys, thank you so much for watching this episode. We'd love to know what questions you typically ask when you're going through your prospect evaluation process and how you identify pains and needs and how you address those.
Yeah, and how many do you ask? How many do you teach your people to ask in a great discovery call? What are the best questions? What are the must-ask questions? We'd love to hear that stuff.
Yeah, so please like and subscribe, and we'll catch you on the next episode.